Welcome back, everyone. Today I have a fun, quick holiday sewing pattern for you. We're gonna be making stockings. And this is a super easy project for all skill levels. And I have a free printable pattern linked in the description below. So grab that pattern and let's get started. And getting started with supplies, you really don't need a lot of stuff for this project, which is pretty good. You only need your main fabric, your lining, your cord, your fur, and iron-on letters if you choose to go that route. You'll need about a half a yard of your main fabric, and your main fabric can be pretty much any fabric you choose. I'm gonna be using upholstery fabric that I found. It's a random fabric I found at the store, and I thought it looked pretty cool. But you can really use any fabric you choose: canvas, twill, denim, pretty much whatever fabric you like the look of. Use it. And another good route to go is recycling an old sweater and using that for your main fabric. You'll need a half a yard of lining, and the lining can be anything lightweight. You can use cotton or polyester or a blend. A quarter yard of faux fur, and there's a few different types you can use here. You can use a strip or you can use a Sherpa. It doesn't matter, whatever one you like the look of, use that one. You'll need a couple inches of cord, and this is gonna be used for the hook at the top. You can use any cord you want. You can use parachute cord, regular cord, pretty much any cord you can think of. And I'm gonna be adding iron-on letters. This is an option you can do if you want, or you can also embroider your letters on. And lastly, you'll need your printable pattern. The pattern is at properfitclothing.com. I have a link in the description, and this is a free pattern, so definitely go and download that before you start sewing. Once you have your pattern, it's best to cut the top and the sides off so you can overlap the pattern really easily.
And after taping your pages together, your pattern should look like this. After cutting, you should end up with 2 top panels cut on the fold, 1 out of your lining and 1 out of your outer layer. 4 bottom panels, 2 out of your lining and 2 out of your outer layer. And remember to pick the correct size before you start sewing. Getting started with assembly, grab your top panels, place the right sides together, and we're gonna sew the long edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And for this project, you can use a straight stitch or a serge. Open the panels up and fold it the opposite way in half with the right sides together and sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And after completing the stitch, flip the wrong sides together and make sure the outer layer is pointing towards you. This is the completed top of the stocking, but you can also add in trim along the bottom that adds for a nice flare. And to add this in, you actually have to start at the beginning and sew in between the 2 layers. And you can really add any trim in between these 2 layers and it'll really give it an extra nice look. After stitching it the same as the first step, flip the right sides out and you can go ahead and choose what style you like best. Grab the bottom panels, and we're going to start with the outer layer. Place the right sides together and sew along the outside edge, leaving the top open. And again, sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And it can be a little bit tricky sewing around these curves, so just take your time and go slow. And we're going to do the same thing with the lining layers. Place the right sides together and sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, leaving the top side open. And it's key to try to keep the same seam allowances for both the outer and the lining layer. After sewing both layers, we're going to open up the outer layer and flip the right side out. With the right side out, we're going to grab the lining and place it on the inside with the wrong sides together. Once you have it in, grab your top panel and we're going to place it on the inside with the outer layer of the top panel touching the right side of the lining. And make sure all the raw edges line up on top. Grab about 4 to 5 inches of your cord, and this is going to be where we hang the stocking from, so you can add more if you want. Place it in between the top and the bottom panel, with the hook end pointing towards the inside of the bottom panel. Pin it down and stitch all the way around the outside at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And again, take your time because you're going to be sewing through multiple layers, so you don't want to miss any of those layers. Pull the right side of the top panel out of the bottom panel. And depending on your fabric, you might have to do a little bit of adjusting to really neaten it up and get all those layers right. And lastly, we're going to put our letters on, and this is iron-on letters, so grab the letters of your choosing and iron them on. Be sure to be cautious with the temperature because you can burn the Sherpa or the fur. Another quick solution is to add a layer in between.
And there you have it, your stocking is complete. Thank you so much for watching this quick holiday video. And like always, if you ever have anything you want me to make, definitely send it my way. Hopefully you have a wonderful holiday and a happy new year, and I'll see you next time.